Hi guys, welcome to a walk around of my Civic Type R. This is an EP3, so it was made between 2000 and 2005, I believe, in the UK and Europe only, as well as a few JDM models, which did make their way over to the UK as well. So mine is a 2004, so it's a facelift model. At the beginning of 2004, they started facelifting the cars, giving them a slightly different front end, different bumper with fog lights now, different front lights and different rear lights, as well as slightly different sound deadening inside, because the car can be quite noisy at high speed. When I say high speed, I mean between like 70 and 80 miles an hour, like British motorway speeds. So I'll just show you around the car outside. I'm currently parked at a supermarket, so I'm probably going to get some funny looks for this. So here we go. There's the front of the car. As you can see, there's some awful Gary Boy vents on there. These horrible bronze alloys, which are really not nice. The car's finished in cosmic grey, which I think is actually the best colour for the car. Few additions to the car. We've got a Mugen spoiler, which I think is quite nice. It's been finished in the usual cosmic grey, but it's had this bit coloured in a nice gloss black. Kind of goes with the car. It's quite a dark car, plus the vents on the bonnet are also black. I plan to paint these alloys black pretty soon. I will probably be doing a video on how I do an at-home DIY refurb on those. I've just noticed as well I've got some fly eye tint on these brake lights, which does actually make it look a little bit darker. But I've also noticed I've got a Buddy Club catback exhaust on the car, as well as a little EPR tow hook. A little bit of a JDM thing. This car probably won't be going on track. So what else have we got? The car did have some horrible carbon effect wing mirrors, which I've taken off to show the lovely cosmic grey paintwork. We've got a little sun strip here. We did have a horrible Mugen Power sticker right here as well. That is now gone. We've got some Team Hecko wind deflectors, which are actually really good. You can have the windows open a fair bit and not get any wind into the car, which is quite nice. This car still has a rear wiper. I'm probably going to go with the rear wiper delete, as I'm personally not a fan of the look, and it is also rubbish. Yeah, the car was clean about half an hour ago. It is now filthy, as you can see. So this car's had quite a few modifications done to it. Obviously, it's on coilovers at the minute, but as you can see, it's not very low. They've been wound up quite high, which kind of is quite nice actually, because it doesn't scrape on anything. It's the first car I've had in a while now that doesn't scrape, which is quite nice. But you still get all the nice handling effects of coilovers, which really does go quite well. I'm in a supermarket right now, so I've got people staring at me. Yeah, it's also had a Beaks sort of, I'm not sure what it's actually called. You can probably see it underneath the car. Probably quite dirty, but I'm not really sure what that does, but I've read online that it's mainly for cosmetic use. However, it does slightly tighten up the rear end of the car. Engine wise, it's had quite a lot done. So the car's currently making 233 horsepower. These make 197 standard, which gets them to 60 in about 6.6 seconds. It's probably not much faster than that now, because it is traction limited. Got some Michelin Pilot Sport 3 tyres on it, which are actually really quite grippy tyre actually in all weathers. I was told they were mainly just a summer tyre, but I've noticed they've been really good in the wet. I've got some sort of cheap Dunlop tyres on the back, which they're alright, but I think the idea is that you get quite good lift off oversteering this car, so whoever fitted these tyres before me wanted sort of mainly an oversteer kind of setup. Back onto the modifications, the engine it's got a bigger inlet manifold, so a 70mm inlet manifold. It hasn't got throttle bodies, just the manifold. We've got a 421 decat manifold. We've got the catback Buddy Club exhaust, which you saw earlier. We've also got a K&N Typhoon filter with a little cold air feed coming into that, and then it's got a K100 ECU from Honda, which has been mapped at TDI North. So VTEC now comes in at 4,500 revs, and it revs all the way to 9,000 RPM, which really does make quite a difference actually. It's a really quick car. It's really loud as well, which I'll show you in a minute as we'll go for a drive. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I think for the exterior of the car and the modifications. We'll have a quick look inside the car, see what you think. Now we're back inside the car. As you can see, we've got the red Type R seats. On the facelift, this part is red. However, on the pre-facelift cars, it's sort of like a dark grey colour. Still look quite good, but I think they look a little bit better on the facelift. Still get the red door cards on the pre-facelift though, I believe. So inside, first thing we've got is we've got an OMP deep dish steering wheel with a Sparco quick release with an NRG short hub. This is actually quite a nice little setup. It brings the wheel a bit closer to here. Maybe in 6'2", I do need the wheel a little bit closer because I have to sit quite far back so my legs can reach the pedals without me kneeing myself in the face. I've also got a Mugen carbon gear knob. Not to my taste, but that wasn't done by me, that was done by the previous owner. Probably go back to the standard Type R titanium shifter. We've got a Pioneer head unit, which is all touchscreen and Bluetooth and what have you. That's quite good. It's a bit outdated now though. It says to connect with an iPhone 4S, use this, or to connect to an iPhone 3G, use this. So it's quite old. Yeah, that is about all I can think of for now. We will now go for a little drive because I'm getting lots of funny looks. We'll see what you think of the car. Alright then guys, now about to start the car up. She is quite loud, but I don't think it comes through on video because most of the noise comes from the back of the car, which sort of you can only really hear in person as we're quite near the front of the car here. You have to let me know if this setup is any good or not because I've kind of got the car just sort of taped up quite ghetto. But here we go. This isn't a cold start, but the car's only been warmed up for about 10 minutes, so it shouldn't be too warm. You get that annoying beep every time you start the car, just to let you know the keys are there in the ignition, which is handy. Alright then, so how do I get out of here? That way. Yeah, with this shorter OMP wheel as well, you do get slightly better turning, or at least it gives the slightly better illusion of a turning, because being an early sort of 2000s car, this does have quite a slow rack. Let me just turn the fans off a bit because you can probably hear that. So, what is the car like to drive? To be honest, before you get into VTEC, without the exhaust, it would just be like any other petrol hatchback. There's nothing extraordinarily different about it, just driving it. It's not like a turbo car, where you kind of have to keep it in the boost. You can literally just keep it below 3,000 to 4,000 RPM all day, every day, and it'd be happy. However, once you get above 4,500 RPM, it really starts to liven up, and it really turns into a little bit of an animal. 233 brakes, not a huge amount, but in a 1200 kilo car, it does feel like it. So what have I had before this? What can I compare it to? Well, the fastest car I've had before this was a Subaru Impreza WRX, which had 265 brake with a few light modifications. How does that car compare to this car? In England on most days, it's probably faster, just because of the four-wheel drive. However, on a dry day, this car is really quick, and it handles so well being on coilovers and on sticky tyres. I forgot to mention as well, the wheels that the car is on allow for a 20mm wider tyre, so the car's currently on 225 tyres with a slightly smaller sidewall than standard, whereas the widest tyre you can fit on the standard wheels is 215, which does make quite a difference. Standard, the cars come with 205 tyres, so it's an extra 20mm of rubber on each corner, which does make quite a difference when you're traction limited. So right now, driving at 40 miles an hour, 6th gear, just below 2,000 RPM, no problem, the car's happy with it. As you'll see in a few minutes, the car's just as happy doing this as it is screaming towards 9,000 RPM. It is a proper monster of a car. But don't get me wrong, I love it, but it is not a stupidly fast car, mainly because of the traction issues. However, I do have plans in the future to try and fix that, which, if this video gets the response I'd like it to, I'll probably document that as well. So, driving around town, the car's lovely, really nice, just like a normal car, with the exception of the exhaust, which is obviously up to me. If I wanted to put a standard exhaust on it, I'd lose a little bit of power, but what you'd gain for that, what you'd lose in power, you'd gain in comfort. car can be quite loud on a long journey. You do have to have the stereo up quite loud at sort of 70 mile an hour to try and cover up the noise of the engine. The tyre noise, despite being on 225s, not that bad at all. The Subaru, that was also on 225s, that had really bad tyre noise, tyre roar. The wind deflectors, as you can see, quite good on this. On the Subaru, done nothing as far as I'm concerned. And those were Subaru wind deflectors. These are aftermarket Team Heco ones, which sort of do wind deflectors for like every car now, I think, near enough. So we're just at a set of traffic lights. I'll probably give it a little away from here. As you'll hear, there will be almost no traction. The car handles really well, considering it's only a small hatchback. I think genuinely this is one of these cars I think everyone needs to own. If you're really into cars, you need to have an EP3 Type R. I wouldn't bother with an FN2. I know they're a bit more modern and a bit more comfortable, but they're about 75 kilos heavier and they've got no extra power to deal with it. This car's fully independent of the rear. It's not in the FN2. Here we go. Quite loud. To be fair, traction was pretty good there. I managed to get my foot all the way down in second, which for this car is not bad. Especially considering the tyres are probably quite cold, as I haven't been driving quickly. Right, we're just going to go down a little country road here, where I don't know pretty well. The pedals in this car are lovely. They really are quite close together, so you can get some really nice heel and toe. So we'll just give it some in third gear here. Pedestrian. Now we're good. Oh, no, there's a car coming. We're doing well today. I drove down here on the way here just to see what the road was like, and there was not a single car. So far we've had a pedestrian. Oh no, we've got 2 pedestrians and 2 cars. Doing well. Oh, a Z-Tech S Fiesta. 1 litre turbo. Just great for a good B-road bashing. Yeah, this, as I was saying, this is one of these cars you just need to own. This K20 engine is just an absolute delight. It just wants to rev. It really does encourage you. It's really bad. You can see why this car's got such a boy racer reputation. Genuinely, it's hard to drive slowly in town. It really is, because you just want to give it some. The exhaust in the modifications probably don't help. Tunnel. Oh, this car. Really is a fun car to drive. I'd recommend anyone. You need to experience this car. You can experience one of the pure delights of proper lift-off oversteer. There's not many hot hatches that come with that these days. Sort of, yeah, the Clio 182 and the 172 and the Type R best cars for a good lift-off oversteer chassis. And they're also very light cars. The Clio's a little bit lighter, but it's a little bit lower on power. They're really even cars on performance, actually. Quite different in their characteristics. The Clio's a bit more torquey, despite them both having a similar engine, but the VVT isn't quite as aggressive, which does tend to give you a more torquey setup. But this car only has about 150 pound-foot of torque standard, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Everyone says it's got no torque. They are right. I have a diesel Golf, which I drive day to day. It genuinely feels really quick, just like normal driving compared to this car. This car you really have to wring its neck, which is part of the character of it. It's a really characterful car, really aggressive. Coilovers, quite stiff. Right, so we're coming up to a nice little straightaway here, so I'll do a second gear pull from just under 4,000 revs. Wheel spin. Now coming up to a roundabout, let's get some lift off. Oh, this car is awesome. It is so fun. It's a front wheel drive car that you can drift, well, oversteer. Oh wow, love it. It's such a fun car. Right now, these cars are a bit of a bargain. This car is probably worth about 3.5 grand, as the mileage isn't too bad, and it's got some quite expensive modifications, which on a Civic, don't be turned off by modifications. Every car's got them. It is almost impossible to find one that doesn't have them. But yeah, that's about it, guys. It's a really good car. Just to overview, I'd recommend, if you don't want to buy one, maybe you have a thing against Hondas, maybe you don't like Jap cars, maybe you're just into your Volkswagens or something, give one a go. Pretend you're interested, get a test drive, see what this engine is about. You've got to drive it. I genuinely think this car is going to go down like the 205 GTI did. A proper hot hatch. It's awesome. It's reliable, it doesn't use oil, it's comfortable without the coilovers. It's quite practical. I've had someone behind me 6 foot, I'm 6'2", so that kind of shows you there's some pretty good rear leg room. You could probably have a small family with this car, I reckon, if you could really wanted to. But yeah, I love it. This is a car that it's going to take me a long time to get bored of it, I think. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment below, see what more footage I might put out. Let me know if you've got any suggestions, see what you think about it. We'll go from there. Alright, cheers guys.